let's get a little more banter.
Okay.
A little more banter. Even if it's like a funny antidote. Antidote?
Antidote.
Antidote. We're poisoned. We need the antidote. Make sure it's funny. I mean, laughter is the best medicine. So
The
an
antidote
antidote could be an antidote.
The antidote could be an antidote. It could also be the cause of death.
You could laugh yourself to death.
Yeah.
God, laughter is dangerous.
Laughter is dangerous.
The perfect supervillain is a stand-up comedian.
We're either going to kill you or save you.
I'll decide which.
How funny do you want me to be? Enough to kill you? Well, damn. I mean, that's a weird spectrum.
Someone, he heals him with his comedy, but then he goes too far and ends up killing him with his comedy, and then he just is torn apart and doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, that's a weird spectrum because you don't say anything, you kill them. You give them a little bit of comedy, you save them. You give them too much comedy, you kill them. So there's a sweet spot of non-death there. What if you tell like 1, 2 little jokes and they're like, I'm still going to die. But like,
at least my last minutes were fun.
Yeah.
I could have done more. So I guess, I mean, thank you to all the comedians out there. You're doing God's work.
Both ways.
I mean, or you're doing the devil's work. I mean, population control is important.
It is very important. It's just like, oh man, I just saved that guy. So that guy has to die. You just walk into every comedy club and half the room is dead.
Damn it, Thanos was performing again tonight.
Look, my comedy is very judicious.
Off. SpinOff. Podcast. Hello, I'm Brian.
I'm Shahir.
And this is SpinOff, the podcast where we take a show and we both pitch spin-offs for spin-off shows.
We get worse every episode.
I keep saying I'm going to come up with a good way to explain our podcast, and
it never happens.
I never do.
All right, welcome to SpinOff, where we do stuff with shows sometimes, occasionally, but never good. Sometimes good. That's debatable.
You may be listening. You may be not listening.
Yeah, but I mean, if a person is listening to it and you're talking to them, then they're obviously listening.
I'm going to assume a Jeremy is listening. So, Jeremy,
cool.
If you are listening.
I don't even know a Jeremy.
I don't either. So, let's
all right.
Shout out to Jeremy. Hi.
Thanks for being you, kiddo.
Add us. All right. So, this is a very special episode.
A very special episode.
Very special episode.
Mm-hmm.
So often we talk about how we are spinning off the hit show.
Mm-hmm.
So this week, we're not going to say that because this week we are spinning off the NBC show, The Cape. And this is where a bunch of people are wondering what The Cape is.
Oh, you haven't heard of The Cape? Well,
it's Batman. If you take everything good away from Batman and give him a magical cape.
It's horrible. All right, so there are good elements of it, but not a lot. Not much at all. It's a superhero show on NBC after Heroes.
Well, let's get into this. Just the synopsis. It's an NBC superhero drama created by Tom Wheeler that follows Vince Faraday, played by David Lyons, a cop who is framed for murder and then thought to be dead. This causes him to become a masked superhero along with the help of a magical cape given to him by a band of criminal circus folk.
He decides to become his son's favorite comic book hero.
Yeah, that's important too. It's a hero that already exists in the comic book.
Yeah.
It's like if someone just put on like a Spider-Man costume and was like, I'm Spider-Man.
There's no reason this should be able to work. Like, he just so happened to be picked up by carnies who had a magical cape.
Yep. That happens to be the exact same cape that is in a comic book. I mean, maybe eventually like the writer of the comic book had the cape before.
Yeah.
The villain gives a hitman the comic book and is like, kill this guy.
Yep. He says, this is a comic book.
Like, no one thinks it's weird that this guy is running around as a comic book superhero.
Yep, this is the cape. It's real.
So this show lasted one season. That is 10 episodes, right?
Yes, 10 episodes.
The final episode was not even aired on NBC because the ratings were so low. It was aired on their website. Not even a streaming service, because those weren't really a thing then. Just their website.
Yep. Hey, guys, the finale of this show that wasn't going anywhere. We're going to put it on the website for you guys to watch.
This would be the point in time where I would say, if you haven't seen The Cape, you should go watch it. But I honestly, I don't want to recommend that to anyone.
No, I had to revisit it. So I watched a few episodes of it when it first came out, and I revisited it this week and was very upset that I did. No one deserves that.
This is the first time I've done this for this podcast, but I had not seen The Cape. So I recently binged it.
Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah.
It was my idea.
Yeah, and I hate you for it.
We were looking for flops. I was like, well, all of The Cape is on NBC.com. The worst part is that it has commercials. So like you're watching the show and then every commercial break, I'm just like, I could stop right now.
There's just three commercials. Yeah. There were so many moments where I'm like, should I just message Shahir and be like, we got to do a different show?
Or just like, I have the plot already. Like I don't need to watch the rest. I could just figure it out right now.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't make it through.
I did.
I didn't finish. I just looked up the rest of the plots, and I got more than halfway.
Mm-hmm. I made it through.
Man, you're more of a man than I am.
Oh man, I hate myself. I'm a masochist. I feel like I've said that before. I couldn't help but know the stupid cliffhanger that the series was going to end on.
I feel bad because I hate shitting on things because people worked very hard on this show. I'm sure.
Did they?
Maybe.
Maybe Keith David. Keith David worked very hard on it.
So the pilot episode, I feel like there were very good things happening, like fun moments and good like plot points. Well, not plot points, but there were good elements happening. They were just all happening in their own world and not connected together.
Yeah. So one thing that I actually do like about the show's, I guess, tropes is that it is kind of similar to Batman in a sense that these actual super villains, or just villains is what I would say, exist. Like there are super powered people in this world that just exist.
But with Batman, you have the whole like, are these villains because they were just villains, super villains, or are they super villains because of Batman and they brought out the supervillain because he was a super vigilante?
Well, all right. So with Batman, there are certain characters that existed before Batman,
but they weren't at the level that they were before Batman. They were just criminals. Then they became super criminals. But at the start of this, you have Chess, who just wears a mask for some reason.
Yep, and he has eyes that change.
Is that ever explained?
Nope.
Okay.
That's why I was just like, are these like, are there real heroes? Like, what are comic books based on in this world? Because all right, so you got this guy with scales. He's just an actual scaled person. Like, I was trying to think of a super villain, but Killer Croc.
Yeah,
there we go. There we go.
Croc.
And then you have a woman that can predict the future based on quantum science. You have, Chess, who's just weird and his eyes can change.
Yeah, that's the thing. It would have made even more sense if it was just like, oh, he's just a really smart dude who does crimes,
right?
Outside of his being like, this huge CEO. Mm-hmm. But nope, he needs creepy lizard eyes and a mask.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I know in comic books, I know superhero stuff, like the mask and the secret identity are things that are normally pretty embellished a good amount.
Yeah.
But It gets ridiculous in this. He is having face-to-face conversations with Chess. His whole thing is that he's smart and plans ahead. How does he not know that he is the cop that he killed?
Yeah.
It makes the most sense.
There's the scene of the train, and he's holding him to fix the brakes.
Cut the line. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's just like, who are you? And he's just staring at his face. Yeah. Like, as his hood comes up and the mask is just
hair,
covering
he doesn't
him.
change his hair. It's the same curly hair.
Same chin. It's just like, but I mean, hey, man, I guess that's what it is. Maybe Faradays just have really unnoticeable chins, because there was a flashback where like they go to him and his wife holding their baby son, and he's like, yeah, he has my chin. And she's like, no, that's my mom's chin. And he's like, no, that's the Faraday chin. And she's like, no, that's my mom's chin. He's like, no, look, that's the Faraday chin. Maybe he just has the most unrecognizable face known to man. Like his face just doesn't matter.
That scene, actually, he's like, he's got my chin, but then the baby like grabs onto his chin.
Yeah, and he's like,
but she already says like, no, that's my mom's chin, or whatever she says. And then he's like, oh, you like actually has my chin, like, you know, good improv. But then she says the line again, and they didn't bother to cut that first line out.
Nope.
Like cool, keep the fun like improv moment, like that's great, but don't keep the original line in. Oh my god, also the flashbacks.
There are so many, like,
and it's not even, they would do flashbacks of things you saw in the show. Like, I get when it was out weekly, you know, you may have forgotten what happened. But then do a recap, like at the beginning. But they do flashbacks, and then immediately after do a flashback of something you haven't seen, and do a flashback of something you have seen, and then do a flashback of something you haven't seen.
And I just didn't care for any of the flashbacks.
And it like the most generic to just like flashback.
I'm not playing Monopoly with you at 2 a.m.
My God.
Leave me alone.
That could just been in the pilot. Like there was no reason to have a flashback of that at that moment.
Nope.
Sorry, what were we talking about before that?
The mask.
The mask, yes. Yeah, he's around his son. He's around his wife.
All right, so you didn't watch the final episode, but in the final episode, he is around his wife.
I read that, yeah. And they still don't know.
Plain sight.
Yeah.
He's talking to her in his voice. He's not like grizzled.
No,
he's not turning like this.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Yeah, he's just talking in his regular voice that he's done several times, and he is right next to her. Like, she's not like, this could be my husband. No, he's dead. It does make sense. Maybe, oh man, it all makes sense now. If you're white, you're Ben Affleck. So maybe all white people to white people in mask just look like Ben Affleck. So she wouldn't know that was her husband. She would just think it's Ben Affleck. She's probably just looking at him like, how the fuck? Why is Ben Affleck fighting crime? This is weird. Like, I know he was Daredevil, but this is a little much.
Man, I knew he had money, but not magic cape money. Like, God,
a full-on magic cape?
I think Ben Affleck's hitting on me. He knows a lot about my husband.
Yeah. And then there's a scene in the finale. So Marty, his former partner, takes a bullet for him, and he's fucking dying, and he's just like, oh, let me do this one thing right. Let me do this one thing right. And then fucking the cape was just like, hey, calm down. Look, it's okay. And he pulls off his hood, and he's like, you didn't kill Vince. And then he looks at him, and he's like, Vince? He's still wearing his mask. He's still wearing his mask. He just took his hood off.
But there's so many moments where he's talking to people with his hood off, and no one gets it. I will say, like, one of the things in the pilot that gave me a little bit of hope was like the circus stuff with Max, where he like gets shot or stabbed or something, and he falls to the ground. And he starts giving the speech, and then he's just like, oh, I'm not dying. I wish I didn't waste a lot of time on that speech. I love that. Like, that was great. That was hilarious.
Right.
Like, that's what gave me hope. And then I had no other moments in the show like that again.
There were a couple moments I liked. Goggles and Specs, they had a few good moments in episode 6.
They were kind of fun.
Yeah. But then they also had some really stupid moments.
Like, I think NBC was just super desperate to have a superhero show.
They're like, what if Batman and Kick-Ass were in the same world?
Pretty much. Like, the cape wasn't the thing. Like, Cape's not a thing, right? Like
No.
it wasn't a thing before the show.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
They're just like, we're gonna make Batman. Even the analogies to Batman are there. Like, he's a detective.
Right.
He has smoke bombs. They have Owl City, which is like Owl Prison, which is their Arkham City,
Right.
where
And
they just send all the villains to.
the evil company is called Ark.
Yeah.
Also, again, back rant. So in the first episode, Max is like, all right, we'll train you all the escape tactics. And I can't imagine much time has passed during this. Maybe like
No.
maybe a few weeks, maybe even a few days. Like it doesn't, in the realm of the show, it does not seem like much time at all. But then in a later episode, he's like, for that, you'd have to learn tightrope walking. That takes years of practice.
Yeah.
Weird, unusual escape techniques are easy, but tightrope walking.
No. You have a fear of heights. You obviously
He's
can't
like,
get
you
rid
could-
of that in a day.
You could never do that.
Yeah, the cape. It's just.
If I was to improve the show, I'd make it, first of all, half an hour.
Oh, definitely.
I'd cut out all of the scenes with his son in it. Sorry. That kid the way he stared out the window just bothered me so much. Just looking at nothing, just blank expression. Like, I get he's a kid, like, acting for anyone is hard, for a kid especially, but emote. Do something.
Yeah, and the villain, like.
There were so many times he spent more time saving the villain and like hanging out with him, and they were super chill. Like there was no moment where he's like, "Hey, you're right next to me. I could just kill you right now." The train. He could, as soon as he cut the brakes, he could have just fucking killed the Cape.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, he had a fucking knife in his hand. He could have cut the brakes. They put him up, and then like even the Cape. I know he was like, "You think this is a game? This is not a game." But like, after he fucking slammed him against the cart, he could have just stabbed him, just right there.
Yep.
Also, I understand the cape is bulletproof, but why not just make the whole outfit bulletproof? Because he got stabbed in the second episode, just stabbed and poisoned.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's that easy? All right, wow, cool. And then had to learn to get his reflexes up, which also fucking sucks because, like I said, in the finale, he's standing next to Marty. Scales is next to them, and he shoots, and fucking Marty has enough time to get in front of the Cape and take the bullets and die. When
he could just pull the Cape out.
Yeah,
Like,
he could have protected both of them, or got in the way. Just he could have turned, but for some reason he just got stage fright. I could just imagine the writers' room being like, "Oh man, well, he's a bad guy. He got him killed, and then he has to atone for that. So he has to die at the end of the season." And then they were just like, "How will he die?" And they were like, "I don't know. He'll take a bullet for the Cape." Why? Why would he take a bullet for the Cape? There's no reason for him to take a bullet for the Cape.
You're right. Yeah,
Even at that point.
Yeah. Like, I remember the pilot of the show being super hyped. Like, I remember hearing it having tons of commercials, like hearing about it constantly, and then hearing nothing about the show after that.
Yep.
It had a 2-hour pilot.
No, actually, the first episode, like you said, was pretty all right.
Right. Like, it was
wasn't
still,
bad.
like, not great.
Yeah.
But there were moments in it that gave me hope for the rest of the show.
And then the rest of the show was just a bore.
Yeah.
So it's just so boring.
It is.
Like so little happens. And also another thing that I just really once again, you said you hate to talk about how bad a show is, but there was so much Dutch angle in this show.
Yep.
Every shot was a Dutch angle, or like a moving Dutch angle where we'll just get more Dutch. And I'm just like, why?
You can't have a superhero show without Dutch angles.
Who told you this was a good idea? Oh, and that's what I was going to say. Reverting back to the Cape. So when he jumped out the window in episode 2, he should have died. I can see if they like even made it play like the cape wrapped him up while he was falling down.
And made him bullet. That didn't even happen. No,
Yeah,
you're right.
He just fell onto a car from a penthouse. And then Orwell's just like, are you crazy? Also, she comes to pick him up right after he falls. But then the fucking other dude is right there, grabbing the wheel. And he could have just easily stabbed her with the poison.
Yeah.
But she's just, he's like, drive. She just drives away.
I really hope someone listening right now is just like, I love the cape.
They're not. They're probably like, can you get to the pitches so like we can fucking stop hearing about this shitty show? Like, even your shows that you're going to pitch could possibly be better than this show. Finally, for once, there's a chance that you could have a better show than this shit.
I mean, honestly, I feel like no one's going to listen to this because first they're going to see we're doing the cape. And
The
then
fuck
be like,
is the cape?
What's that? I already don't care about these guys. I only listen because I like shows.
Oh, man. So do you want to get into pilots?
Normally at this point, we're like, let's talk more about this show.
I don't even want
I
to.
don't think.
What's your favorite episode of The Cape?
Oh my God. I think we already said the pilot is probably like the strongest episode of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Like, I like the Goggles and Specs episode.
Yeah, that wasn't bad either.
That was a decent episode. But like, and then it's also stupid there because he's just like, I just want a day off. So how was your day off? Shut the fuck up.
Just
also, like the Peter, the actor, for some reason he has like a slight mullet. Did you notice that?
No.
He has like a little too much party in the back. His hair is like.
Is that what takes you out of the show?
Yeah, because like
mullet?
I'll look at him and I'll just see the hair coming down from behind him like he has a ponytail, but it's not. He just has really long hair in the back for no reason.
It's like he has a cape on his head.
I was just like, this is a weird choice. Like, why wouldn't you taper that? Like,
all right. I think we've tortured our listeners enough. Let's just get to these pitches and torture them in a different way.
yes. All right.
So, Shahir, what is your spinoff?
All right. So my spinoff is based on Carl. I'm joking.
Okay. I was like, wait, is there Carl in the show?
Every pitch has to have Carl in it now. But no, and I pray to God that you don't have the same thing as me. But
we honestly, if we have the same pitch, this has to be the last episode. It just has to be.
So the title of my show is Rad Lass, the Radioactive Woman.
No, we're good.
Great. Years after the event of the Cape, Marty Voigt's daughter, Layla, becomes Rad Lass, the Radioactive Woman, and takes over as the new protector of Palm City. It's an action drama, and it's starring Zendaya.
Good. What channel is your show on? Did you say that?
My show is going to be on... Fuck. This show shouldn't exist. Neither should the Cape.
No. Somehow it did, so hey.
I would say it should just stay on NBC Digital, but that's basically Hulu now. And I don't want it to be... It's not good enough to be on Hulu. Like, just logistically, it's not good enough to be on Hulu. Like, the show is fine. Like, it has good bones, but if you walked up to Hulu and were like, hey, I want to spin off the show The Cape, they'd be like, excuse me, sir, can you get the fuck out my office? So I'm going to say Freeform.
Fair enough. Yeah. I could see this transferring to Freeform.
Okay, Brian, what's your plot?
So, I like that you're going after the Cape because mine is a prequel.
Okay.
Takes us back to the early 6th century. The legendary wizard Merlin has taken on an apprentice, Oliver, initially a blacksmith's apprentice. Oliver is thrown into a world of magic and wonder and begins to grow an interest in enchanting items. As his skills in the magical arts grow, so does his view on how they should be used. It is a hour-long action-adventure drama on the Sci-Fi Network.
And the show is called?
Talented Things.
I don't like the name. Change the name right now.
untalented things.
All right, cool. All right, so my show, I just wanted to go really obscure because I was like, we got really close on that last one. So let me try to find something different.
I ain't go obscure at all.
I mean, you did. Yours has nothing to do with the show.
That's what you think.
It's going to be the inventor of the cape.
I'm like, fucked everything. I'm just, what's your pilot?
I mean, I get that. I'm just saying, at least mine had a subtle nod to it.
What's your pilot?
Peter Fleming is inside of the execution chamber, awaiting his lethal injection for the unspeakable amount of deaths he has been responsible for. As he gets ready to die, he says, "How could I have been so stupid? Vince." And a smile takes over his face, finally knowing the identity of the cape, the man who placed them there. In the witness room is a media crew who gained access to the story. Cut to woman in her early 20s inside of a police station that overhears the words and leaves. Then you cut to Bridgeport, Wyoming, an aged Vince walking outside to get the mail from a box that reads Friedman and walks back in to his wife, Dana, who is leaving for work. He turns to see a stranger in his kitchen, and they engage in hand-to-hand combat. Bested in his old age, the assailant takes off their hood to reveal the woman from the station. And he responds, "Layla?" Layla talks to Vince, who is holding a bag of Brussels sprouts to his lip, and she asks why he never told them, to which he gets up and says, "The same reason you won't tell your mom and your brother." They walk into a hidden room where they find files on the desk, photos on the wall, and video playing of a new vigilante hero in Palm City. He says that he had a friend of his do some digging, and she found out who the person behind the mask was. She responds that when the cape left, the city needed a hero. He responds to her, "You're right, but you could use a little help. How do you feel about the circus?" They cut to black.
Wait, is the cape still active?
No.
Did you say that and I just ignored it?
Yep.
Cool. This is where we learned that I don't actually listen to Shahir's pitch. You said it's half hour?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It can't be an hour. Oh, and the show is also as boring as the cape. Just to let you know. Completely on scale boring.
Why? Why even make that then?
I don't even want to make it better. I also realized that the pilot episode of mine actually had a full scene of Radlass fighting crime in Palm City and an appearance of Scale. Okay, so before your pitch, I should clarify that even though nobody has seen the cape that's listening to this episode right now, my character stems from episode 2 of the cape when Vince picks up an additional copy of the cape, and next to it is issue 12 of Radlass, the Radioactive Woman. So she just also becomes a character that already exists.
Cool. I was just going on like I knew what you were talking about, but I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, cool.
Radlass, the Radioactive Woman. She's not radioactive at all, by the way. So like, she didn't.
Just a girl.
Yeah, she didn't stumble on to a group, and that's actually part of it. Is that like, because he stumbled upon a group that just happened to have a cape. She didn't stumble upon a group
Happened
that
to have radioactive.
also have. Yeah, it's just like we have radioactive waste that we could make you nuclear.
No, it's just. She
just
becomes
also,
a superhero, and they're like, she happens to run to a group of people who have it. She's like, no, I'm good.
She just also has a cape.
Yes, no, she gets the cape. And they're like, so are you the cape? No, I'm radioactive.
And they just assume she has powers, but she doesn't.
It's not even the same cape. It's just a cape. It's a normal cape. All right. So setting this up, late 6th century, Merlin time, whatever time that was. I honestly did not research this as heavily as I probably should have.
Who cares? That sounds right.
So we open to a workshop cluttered with an assortment of mystical items. Oliver sits at a table with cluttered books and bottles. He's obviously working very hard on something, but it's unclear what he's working on. He stops looking at the table. His look of focus and exhaustion turns into one of excitement and pride. He calls out, "Master Merlin! Master Merlin!" Merlin enters. He's an older man, but not as old as he's often depicted. He looks at the table in front of Oliver, and he looks a bit confused and disappointed. And he just goes, after all of your practice and study, this is what you create? Oliver steps back to reveal a cape sitting on the table. He puts it on to show Merlin what it can do. It waves around and grabs the bottle off the table. Merlin still looks disappointed and tells him he sees more talent in him than this. So Oliver just tosses it to the ground, tosses it to the floor. Determined to impress Merlin, he shows him the other thing he created, which is a shield impervious to dragon fire. Oliver excitedly details his idea to create more of them and give them to the knights so they can better protect the villages against dragons. Merlin explains that as wizards, it is their responsibility to observe the world around them and assist through guidance of wisdom, but magic must remain with them only. Later in the day, Oliver is walking through town. He sees an old blacksmith. The blacksmith is finishing up a shield for a young knight. He introduces Oliver to him as his old apprentice, who is too good for blacksmithing. Jokingly, of course. They're friends. It's friendly. Mm-hmm. The young knight talks about how he is terrified because he has been chosen to guard the mountains, the most common area for dragons. Oliver decides to give him the shield he has created. So it's the next day. We follow the knight to the mountains. He is with a group of other knights, and they are standing guard, and suddenly you see a dragon fly above them. The dragon breathes down fire. The knight quickly holds his shield over his head, and he is surrounded by flames. Once the flames clear, the knight looks around to see the dragon flying away. He then looks around to see all of his fellow knights dead on the ground. He is the only one left standing. Back to Oliver and Merlin. Merlin discovers what Oliver did and tells him there are consequences for his actions greater than he could know, and that it may have been a mistake choosing him to be his apprentice. That night, when Oliver is on his way home, a hooded figure stops him. He tells him that he is death and that the knight he gave the shield to is meant to die. Oliver now owes him a life. Cut to black.
Out here being creative. So
once I just completely ignored the show I was basing it off, I had fun with it.
God damn it. I'm going to be original next time. Whatever the show is.
Cool.
You have dragons in this one, vampires in the previous one. You know what? Fuck you. Okay? How about that? So the one episode that I don't pitch on, you have Gary Oak as a fucking taking over as a professor in a fucking cartoon drama. And then you're just like, you know what? Vampires and dragons.
Well, you shit on me so much that I knew I had to get better.
Well, I shit on you to keep us at an even stilt, you know? We're supposed to be, we're partners. We're supposed to be on the same side of shittiness.
To be fair, I also did pitch Heroes on Heroes.
Uh-huh.
That was kind of I can't go back to doing something as terrible as that pitch.
Fair. Okay.
But also, in a way, I'm kind of being lazier with these because I'm just not restraining myself to the realm of the show at all. Like I'm not keeping these SpinOff feeling at all.
You spun off the cape.
Yeah.
And it's not even like part of the show.
No, exactly. The cape, yeah. You're gonna, I mean, it would show up eventually and, continue the world of the show, but it would not be a central piece.
Yeah, like we really wouldn't have gotten to the same spot because I was going to do a show based on Cosmo, but the person that trained Keith David, Max, and then his story, and then his the origin story of Max, and then I was like, nah, because that could get really close. Let me not do that.
Well, originally I was going to call Oliver Cosmo, and he was going to be the first creator, and then just pass the name down. But I was like, I don't want to actually use the cape. He just makes it.
Right.
Like I don't want this to be the cape in like medieval times. But eventually, he would give the cape to someone would get the cape and they would be Cosmo, and then they would, that would start the passing down of the cape. Mm-hmm. So what my other idea was, which was still pretty ridiculous, but at least was more in the show, I was going to have a courtroom-ish drama with the creator of the comic book attempting to sue the real life cape.
I was going to do that. That's crazy.
Oh my God.
That would have been our commonality. Because I was like, He's just the character from the comic book. It has to be so horrible for him.
Yeah, I was gonna just the creator. The creator of the comic was just mad that there was this guy running around.
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't know where to take the show though, so
But,
I didn't do that one.
So like mine started with him like just being J. Jonah Jameson obsessed with him, and he was like, "No, I want to know who the real Cape is.
Get me the cape."
And they were like, "Why? Do you want to kill him? Do you want to hire him?" He was like, "No, I want to sue him."
I mean, is he making money off this?
I mean, but you have to. All right, so just think of the domino effect that it could have. Like if he's walking around as the Cape, then people could sell Cape merchandise, and they would be like,
Because
he would
it's
be
based
like,
off a real person. Yeah.
they'd be like, yeah, no, I want that removed. This is based on my character. And he's like, no, it's based on that guy. And what's that guy gonna do? Sue me? No, he doesn't want people to know who he is. He's not gonna file a class action lawsuit with his name. What is he gonna put? The Cape?
Oh God, this is gonna happen one day. One day we are going to show up with the same exact pitch.
No. I refuse to let it happen.
It's
again.
gonna happen.
I'm gonna start pitching the wrong show now. All right, you're spinoff of the Cape, and I'm like, all right, well, Alfred. He's a young man in this one. That's not the Cape. It's Batman. No, it's Gotham. It's still not the Cape. It could be. Gotham could take place in the Cape.
Oh, so they do this weird thing in the show where they have these moments where it seems like they know how ridiculous this show is. Like they make fun of, like in the second episode, he's like, "What's your name?" Like he saves the guy in the convenience store. He's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "The Cape." Oh, you should work on that name. Like
He was like, you work on it.
Yeah, they acknowledge how ridiculous it is, but they keep taking it seriously. Like they don't just make it all
But that's all right, and that's also a reason for my show, because when I saw, because it's the same episode right. 2. When I saw it, it was like the Cape and then Radlass, the radioactive woman, and I was like, well, that is. Who created this company where they were just like, all right, what are your characters? All right, we have the Cape, okay, and we have Radlass, the radioactive woman.
I think Radlass is better than the Cape.
Radlass, the radioactive woman, is infinitely better than the Cape.
Of course, you could go with either or. You could have just gone with Radlass or radioactive woman. You don't need both names.
No, it has to be the radioactive woman.
I hope every time she showed up, they go, "There's Radlass, the radioactive woman."
I mean, because what does Radlass do other than just being really cool and Scottish?
Radlass, the radioactive woman, we need you. No, they have to say all of the all of the words.
Oh man, thank God Radlass, the radioactive woman, saved the day.
Who did it? Radlass. And they're just waiting. Like, which Radlass? Wait, there's more than one? No, but you have to continue the name.
Or there's just all of them. Radlass, the radioactive woman. Radlass, the bomb.
That's your season 2. There's multiple Radlasses. There's Radlass, the non-radioactive woman who is actually radioactive.
It's just she's just regular Radlass, but she's the only one with powers.
Specifically Radlass, the non-radioactive woman, but she is radioactive.
Yes. All our names are just opposites. What channel was your show on?
Sci-Fi.
Oh yeah,
I figured that was the only channel that would consider picking up a Cape spinoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have some pretty bold shows.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. None of them really good, but pretty bold.
But like that's I figured.
Oh, Krypton.
Is that sci-fi?
Right. Yeah.
I haven't seen Krypton yet. But again, that's like if you're like, hey, we're doing a Superman prequel with his grandfather, you're like, okay, I don't really see a show in that. But that's like sci-fi.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess.
I mean, like sci-fi has the magicians.
Yeah. I was thinking of the Librarians for some reason.
What channel was that on?
We Know Drama.
I heard good things about that though. I never saw it, but I heard that was a decent show.
Well, it's canceled now.
Well, yeah, but that's why I said it was a decent show.
I watched like the pilot. Apparently, there were movies before there was a show.
Really?
Uh huh.
Like made for TV movies or like movie?
Like movies that were on TNT. And then they made the show that was, well, actually, they made the show that was a movie and then spun off into the show with the original librarian in the show, but the rest of the cast as librarians, which is weird because it's kind of like a Doctor Who thing. He's supposed to not be alive, but
so
he
it was
is.
just like there was a library, like it was just a guy. I thought it was like a group of like powered librarians. Who, I don't know the plot. Of this
I don't
show.
even think they're librarians.
Oh, okay.
There's just a library.
Oh, I thought it's something to do with like magical books or something.
I don't think so.
Okay.
We'll fact check.
Yeah.
We won't.
No,
do it,
we don't do that here.
No,
There,
okay.
I'm even when I'm editing, I hear us say incorrect things, and I'm just like, it's staying in. I don't care. I mean, if you have a problem with that, email us at spinoffthepodcast@gmail.com, and we will on air correct our mistakes.
Absolutely.
So obviously, since no one has done that, we have made no mistakes, and we're perfect.
If you email us with things that we got right, even if you can send us false things like, hey, his name was actually Samantha in Rugrats, not Tommy. I'd be like, hey guys, so it turns out that it wasn't Tommy Pickles, it was actually Samantha.
Hey, your name's not Brian. Hey guys, sorry, I'm Todd.
Yeah, crazy enough.
Hi, I'm Todd,
And I'm Carl.
and this is
Something. All right, so how many episodes do you think my show's getting?
a pilot. I'm sorry.
Good.
I feel like
I said episodes. I said episodes again this time, and I meant it.
I feel like now I'm not even being insulting. Just
No.
you get an episode.
Sweet. Do I even get an episode? I think this doesn't leave approved. Actually,
No, I think you get a pilot.
More
It's just-
so-
you get an unaired pilot. How
no,
about
more so than not getting an unaired pilot. I think this show, whoever pitches it, is blackballed. Like they could never.
They're shunned.
Yeah,
from
they're just shunned from Hollywood.
TV industry.
Entirely. They have to. They have to become the Cape in real life because the show that they pitched, they were like, "How dare you, sir?"
they go after TV execs.
And then he just has a reality show based on him as the Cape.
My God.
So I just spun off my spinoff, and I think your show gets 2 seasons.
Oh wow.
All right, so the first season is going to have horrible like VFX.
We'd use the entire budget on the first episode,
Yeah.
and then it would all just be in like a cabin.
No. That's not how sci-fi operates. So like they still make it in the world, but the effects are just trash.
Yeah.
And then the second season, they're like, all right, we'll try. Let's see if we could contain this a little bit. And then you realize, no, the story just wasn't there, and then they cancel it.
Yeah, fair enough. That's how I see this going.
Yep, 2 seasons.
I will say, of all the shitting that we've done on the Cape, it did bring us one good thing. It brought us 6 seasons of Community.
What?
Huh?
What do you mean?
In Community, there's the whole thing that started 6 seasons in the movie was Abed was like had a cape on.
Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
was like hitting things, and Jeff goes, "Why are you so into that show? It's not even gonna last the season." And then Abed goes, 6 seasons in the movie.
Yep.
Where he's like, "It's gonna be canceled." He's like, 6 seasons in the movie.
Yeah, he has
and then that followed that started the whole 6 seasons in the movie hashtag when a Community was in trouble.
And we still didn't get a movie.
Right, but I guarantee you, it would have just been canceled if it wasn't for that 6 seasons of the movie thing. Like if
Definitely.
if
Yeah.
that one line wasn't said in there, no one would have hyped it up as much. Like
Right.
that show was literally saved by a hashtag.
Yeah.
Because I feel like even if people were like, "Oh, bring back Community," like it wouldn't have come back. NBC only listens to hashtags.
Yeah.
If someone was just like, hey, if a lot of people were like, "Hey, we want the show back," they're like, "Nah, people don't want the show." But like, "Hey, there's a hashtag.
Oh,
it's
shit, we're
real
on it."
now."
Guys, you have to know the market. You can't just say bring back Community. What Community? But if you bring back hashtag Community, we know exactly what community you're talking about. Hashtag community, not the community inhabited entirely by hashtag people.
Which is a pilot that was pitched on NBC. Yeah, some guy at NBC with this pitch was like, man, they must really love my pitch. They're trying to bring me back and I haven't even left yet.
Guys, we know you have the show Community, but think about this. Hashtag community. But hashtag community is hashtag written out, not hashtagged, which totally threw community.
But then there's also a pound sign in there at the end.
All right, so I got a pilot and you got two seasons.
Nice.
Obviously, we're doing this right. What if we like pitch something that just never is so good that we never want it to end? I think only bad shows stay on for a really long time, or shows get progressively worse the longer they're on.
I mean, they definitely change. If
there has to be a sweet spot, or just a change. Like I guess,
I feel like I don't watch it, but we've talked about it before. But I feel like, well, that's a good example. That's a better example than I was going to give.
Mm-hmm.
That's a show like it's definitely changed, and some people say it's not good anymore. But like I feel like it's still bringing out like quality things,
right?
Like it's obviously like nothing can be the same. I feel like if something's the same for how many years has it been?
Is it 30 now?
Is
I think it's been 30.
So if something's the same for 30 years, you're doing something wrong. Like things need to grow, things need to change.
Right. Well, we're pretty much just at closing.
Yeah. Closing time. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
It's gonna be really weird when like
I know who
the show doesn't get traction, but Brian gets a record deal.
I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home.
I'm gonna make auto-tune edits of all of our shows.
Closing time. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning.
This has nothing to do with the song that you're singing, but how do you feel about Hey There Delilah getting its own show?
I'm sorry, what?
The song Hey There Delilah is getting a TV show.
I'm sorry, what?
The song Hey There Delilah is getting a TV show.
How? Who? What? Where, when, why?
I guess it's about a girl moving off to New York City who's 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty. Yes, you do. Times Square don't shine as bright as you.
There's nothing that stands out enough about that song for me to be like, that's a show.
Plain White T's song Hey There Delilah being adapted for TV. The Hollywood Reporter. What is being described as a scripted romantic dramedy to networks. Oh, okay, they're shopping it.
Okay, the only positive I see in this is that it's someone just being like, okay, nothing super original is getting made. Like only things based off like already existing materials are going to be made. So I have this idea for this show. It's about a girl. I'm just going to name her Delilah and say it's based off the song Hey There Delilah and try to get it picked up based on that.
But like it's the front man of the show is one of the producers on it.
Oh, fuck you.
The front man of the band. Did I say the front man of the show?
I knew what you meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
The band.
Yeah. It's just really funny, especially because I'm pretty sure he did an interview and said that Delilah was just a girl he didn't know.
It was a girl it was like a girl he met and he was like, hey, I'm going to, like, he was joking, like, I'm going to write a song for you. And she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's probably what she sounds like. Her name's Delilah. That's what all Delilahs sound like.
That's namist.
They just flutter their eyes a lot and are like, ha.
And then she was in New York just doing shit. Then heard the song, Hey There Delilah, how's it like in New York City? And she's like, hold the fuck up.
Like, what
this song's about me.
What could that show possibly be about? Like, there's nothing original about that song enough. It's about a pretty girl named Delilah.
Yeah, but 1,000 miles seems pretty far, but we have planes and trains and all.
It's about a long distance relationship.
The world will never ever be the same.
There's never been any show.
First of all, he said the world will never ever be the same, and you're to blame. What if he's a terrorist? What if, like, she leaves and he just decides to become a trained assassin or something like that?
He becomes the Cape.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is how they bring the Cape back.
The world will never be the same
With
because
hey
he's
there,
the Cape
Delilah.
now. I hope it's something like that. Oh my God. See, now I have to pitch that. Can we spin off Hey There, Delilah, the song?
Do we just start spinning off songs now? Is that our new podcast?
I mean, I guess it's doable now.
Oh my God. That's a thing, apparently.
Uh-huh.
Out of all this, if you were like, hey, they're making a show based off the song, one of the last songs I'd think of was Hey There, Delilah
By the Plain White Tees.
by the Plain White Tees. There's so many more like story-based songs in themselves that would have made so many better shows. Nope, just a generic song about a girl.
Yep. Hey, man. That song was huge.
I would have preferred a show of Who Let the Dogs Out. They would at least answer some questions I was curious about.
Oh my God, we have to make that show. First of all, cut that out. Cut that out.
We're going to shop it. We're going to pitch it
we
around.
have to. I think we do. If Hey There, Delilah could get a show, Who Let the Dogs Out? Oh my God.
It's never answered, by the way.
Exactly.
We never answer the question.
We'd get like 40 seasons. The Baha Men.
We keep hinting that that season they're going to reveal Who Let the Dogs Out. We just never tell them, so they keep renewing us just so they can find out.
Yeah, we'll treat it like the unsolvable version of Jack's death in This Is Us. Like, we'll just keep alluding to stuff.
We keep hinting that person may have let the dogs out.
and then kill off the person.
Yeah. All right, so let's meet tomorrow. We'll work out we'll work out the outline.
Absolutely.
We'll spec out the pilot, and we'll start pitching it around.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we could probably reach out to the Baha Men right now. Sure, they're not doing much.
Shout out to Baha Men.
I mean, other than listening to this podcast.
Yeah, and being the Baha Men.
I mean, I'm just saying that they're like, they have a boatload of money. They have like more money than God. What do they need?
I feel like there are levels of success. And it's just like you work and work, and then once you get to Baha Men, you're just done.
Yeah,
you're Baha Men.
And then like if you
even Elon Musk is just working to be Baha Men.
Yeah,
he doesn't actually care about changing the world or anything. I don't know. Do people like Elon Musk now? I feel like it's a mix.
I don't think they do.
Some people like him, but like some people think he's a dick. I don't know.
Yeah, but then again, this podcast could be listened to at any time or place. So let us know in the comments below how you feel about Elon Musk. I love Vulture's headline because it says, "Hey there, Delilah, your creepy song's becoming TV show now." Becoming a TV show now.
No, Vulture. I guess we tortured our listeners enough this episode. This isn't really even being self-hating. It's just kind of being just hating in general. But hey, if you listened all the way, good for you. Thanks.
You made it further in this episode than Brian did in the show The Cape.
Hey, I watched like 6 episodes.
And they made it to the end.
So what you can do now is you can go on to tangentcreates.com/spinoff, and then you can vote for my episode.
Yeah, just vote for my episode. I know I said this several times in a row now, but yeah, just do it.
I mean, you can vote for Shahir's. I mean, again, someone could just be like, "Hey, Shahir's."
Actually,
that's a good
vote for mine because mine stars Zendaya.
Yeah,
and his doesn't.
Yeah, give her a shitty project to work on.
So I'm definitely getting like at least a season, even though like she can be any character better than Rad Lass. I'm sorry, Zendaya's not in my show anymore. Actually, I changed it. Up and coming talent is in my show now. Up and coming talent who I want to kill their career by putting them in this show. Oh, it's not going to kill their career. It's just going to start it. There have been a lot of famous people that have been in terrible roles first. Okay, fair enough. Please vote so we know that you're listening, because it makes us feel like we're not just wasting our time. Yeah, and you can drop us notes. And if you don't want to publicly show your support of the show, use a fake name.
I don't blame you. Yeah,
you
I
can
wouldn't
use-
want to reveal that I listen to us.
You can use a fake name, fake ID, like something that's not even close to your like real name. Like if it's like if your name is Greg, just use
Greg.
well, I was gonna say like Artemis. Something that doesn't give you don't reveal your birthday in it. Don't give us any clues that it could be somebody we actually know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hide it entirely. And if you do want to let us know that you listen, let us know in private like everybody else does.
Yeah. Yeah. People are like, hey, I listened to it. Cool. Like it's I like it. And I'm just like, hey, cool. Do you want to like share they listen to it so that like more people might listen? And they're like, nah.
No. That's not what I want to do.
All right.
I listen to
thanks.
every episode. Oh, that's cool. You want to like repost it or like comment on it?
Or even just like a post.
Nope.
That we okay.
Nope.
Or vote?
Mm-mm.
No, you didn't vote? Okay.
No.
Okay, cool. I feel like this is getting a little more self-hatred.
Nah.
But yeah,
This is motivation for our fans.
our
if you
fans.
love
we use
us.
the term fan loosely.
Give us our flowers while we can still smell them.
But honestly, we do appreciate everyone listening. Those who are listening, those who aren't listening, so it doesn't matter what I say. You all suck. But you can also follow us on Facebook at SpinOff on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter at SpinOffCast, and you can follow us on Instagram at SpinOff the Podcast. You can also email us at spinoffthepodcast@gmail.com. I was recently informed that having multiple names for our social media was stupid, but I'm gonna keep doing it.
It's not gonna change.
Just try to find us. I dare you. Shout out to my wife who has no faith in me.
Hi, Julie.
No, she's great. She listens. It's great. She's one person I know will listen to at least like 20 seconds of every episode, except for the ones she hasn't listened to.
All right, so you can find us on Stitcher,
Oh yeah.
Apple Podcasts, and on the website tangentcreates.com, where you can find more stuff like Don't Fake the Podcast. That's really cool, really awesome. It has some episodes coming out. And we have Keto Comics, which is our series on YouTube where we are unboxing comic books that we shouldn't be buying because we shouldn't be spending money like this, but we are anyway. And there's other stuff like short films and music videos that nobody really cares about, but hey, it's on the website too, tangentcreates.com.
Yeah, and if you go on our social media stuff, just let us know. Let us know you're listening. Let us know what you're listening on. Let us know what you'd like us to do. Let us know what you want of the show. Like if there's a show you really want us to spin off, if there's a platform you want us to be on, if you really want us to be on Spotify because that's where you listen to shit. I don't know how you ended up listening to this, but thanks.
We're also on YouTube.
Yes, we're also on YouTube. No one listens on YouTube yet. So if you listen to stuff on YouTube, again, thank you for going off your normal routine and listening to this. But you can go on YouTube and listen to it. Just tell us what to do.
Give us direction.
We're tired of making decisions for ourselves. They're always the wrong ones. Show us what to do next. I have a very specific listener I want to shout out.
Okay, cool.
Her name's Delilah. What's it like in New York City? I mean, like you're 1,000 miles away, but tonight you look so pretty. I don't know how I know that because I haven't seen you yet.
Actually,
but I'm
that's
just sure you're pretty.
That's the song's a lot less stalkery like now because people consistently update their lives on social media.
Yeah, when it came out, it was
24/7.
kind of like that's weird. But now I'm like, yeah, now it's completely recent.
Yeah, he's like, I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty. But like, people were posting new photos on MySpace every day.
Right.
But people are definitely on IG story. Like you could definitely hey there Delilah today and not seem as awkward.
Yeah, it's like I'm just checking out your Twitter constantly.
Like,
It's fine.
If there was a comment on a girl's post that was like, I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty.
You're like, aww.
Exactly. But like, if she just got a text message that was like, I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty, she'd look like, Yeah,
But-
so he said he was 1,000 miles away, but how would he know that I look pretty?
But it's like if you're just throwing a pickup on the gram, that's what the kids say, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Then like it's completely normal.
Exactly. Hey There Delilah was a weird song, guys. Just know that. Do your research on Hey There Delilah. That's the synopsis of this podcast.
Also, what kind of name is the Plain White Tees?
They were wearing plain white tees.
Were they?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's just...
Name one other Plain White Tees song.
I don't even think they have another. I think if you
Plain White
I
Tees
think if
name
you-
another
yeah.
Plain White Tees song, like, Goodbye There, Delilah. I don't know.
Guys, did we do another song?
We just kind of ran off that fame for a while.
It went for a pretty long time.
Our concerts were really weird because we just did Hey There, Delilah and then just stood there.
All right, guys. Well, that's your homework for today. Never mind. Don't watch The Cape, but listen to a different Plain White Tee song.
Listen to 11 hours of Hey There, Delilah. And your time is better well spent.
Oh, shit. Oh, damn. They have Hey There Delilah, but then the next song is Bonnie, I Want You. Who's Bonnie?
Yeah. What did you do with Delilah?
What did you do with Delilah?
What if Hey There, Delilah is like a murder mystery show? Like, what if they really dive into the creepiness of it and just like it's a stalker? Like, then I'd be all for the show. If
That's
it's
what I'm
like,
saying,
If it's like
yeah.
a stalker show,
Yeah.
like, fine. But if it's just like, hey, look at this girl Delilah that I like, then I'm not on board.
Well, I guess now we do have to spin off Hey There Delilah. I guess we kind of did spin off Hey There Delilah.
Well, let it become a show.
Uh-huh.
Here, okay. If this show gets picked up after the first season of the show, we will spin it off.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
So we need you to save Hey There Delilah, the show that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
Like the Cape saved Community, and just hashtag Hey There Delilah.
No, use a more creative hashtag. Hashtag there Delilah hey.
No. Hashtag save there Delilah.
And people save it. But you're like, what's there to save? We just pitched it. So,
Hashtag I want Delilah.
to be saved.
Hashtag I want Delilah on NBC.
Hashtag save the Delilah, save the world.
All right. Well, this has been an episode.
It has been an episode. I'm Brian,
I'm Shahir.
and this has been
SpinOff.
SpinOff.
Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty, yes you do. Times Square can shine as bright as you, I swear it's true.